Legion of Superheroes number 13, written by Paul Levitz, art by Scott Collins. Last issue, I can't remember, but I think the team was betrayed and then they escaped or something like that. I don't know. So anyway, we pick up on an asteroid mining thing that is being ransacked by pirates, and we have Chemical Kid, Element Lad, and Cosmic Lad. Two of those are named on the book. So they're all fighting against the pirates or whatever, and it's just like, is this really a thing for the Legionnaires? Chemical Kid asks, and he's like, yeah, because it's like the fifth time that these pirates have attacked. So we're here to lend the science police a hand. So they show up, but it turns out these aren't just run-of-the-mill normal pirates just looking for a little score. They're kidnapping like the entirety of an asteroid's ore in their giant ship, and Cosmic Lad uses his magnetic powers to pull all of the ore against their magnets and basically shatter it back down to the planet. And Element Lad and Cosmic Lad both scatter, but then Chemical Kid just freezes. He's like, guys, what am I supposed to do? As his ore is hurtling down upon him. Element Lad turns around, manages to get him out of the way. Or I should say get him out of the way. He manages to get him to duck as Cosmic Lad holds up the entirety of the meteor stuff from killing them. So at that point, he's just like, all right, yeah, I got hit in the arm by a beast meteor, but Chemical Kid just froze. It's fine. It all happens to all of us. And Chemical Kid's like, I didn't freeze. Okay, yeah, I froze, but sorry. And it's just, he's like, okay, can you use your chemical powers to help me heal? He's like, nah, I don't actually know how to do that. And he's like, great, cool, thanks. So cut back to Legion headquarters. Brainiac's doing a scan on, what's her name? The golden one, the one who betrayed him, trying to figure out like why she betrayed him, if something was implanted in her brain or something like that. And Duplicate Damsel is not happy that she's being held captive in that way because, I don't know, she doesn't like Brainiac. So at that point, Duplicate Damsel makes her way out into the garden in a huff, and Dream Girl shows up, and she's like, hey, why did you risk your life to save him if you're so pissed off at him? And it's just like, oh, you wouldn't understand. It's like, well, I know that you hate me a lot more than you hate him. And it's just, whatever, bye. So I don't even know what that scene was about. So then we go back to the trio from the beginning, and they're just flying in a ship, and basically they're just talking to Chemical Kid like, dude, do you know anything? Like, were you given any of the basics at all? And he's like, I may have skipped a few classes in Legion school. And they're like, oh, that's great. Anyway, we got the tracker for this pirate ship. We're going to go and get their stuff, unless you want to stay on the ship, Chemical Kid. And he's like, no, I want to come with. I want to prove myself. So he makes his way out to this pirate ship. And the goal is basically Chemical Kid's going to use his powers to like tear apart the ship, as well as Cosmic Lad using his powers to tear apart the ship. But as he's firing off his magnetic blast, he feels a separate yet opposite magnetic blast back on himself. So they've already made a call to Legion headquarters saying, hey, can you send the science police here? We've got the pirates. And Mon-El's there, and he's like, yeah, sure, they're on their way, but hold on, I need to take another call. And he's like, hi, remember how way back, like God knows how many issues ago, we were worried about the Fatal Five coming back? That's a thing again. Can I make sure, like, first off, Magic Girl, her name is Glorith, can you use your magic to, like, find to see if this chip is anywhere that can recreate what's his name? And she's like, yes, I might be able to. Cool. Second team holding Sunboy, I need you to go check on this axe that belonged to another member named the guy, Persuader. That's the one. Can you go check on this axe and make sure it's still being held in this building or whatever? And Sunboy's like, can do. So they go check on that, and then it's just like, okay, back to you, pirate guys, you cool? But then at that point, Cosmic Lad's like, no, we're not cool anymore. Something's fighting against my magnetism. And it turns out that the pirates are actually members of his own race that also have magnet powers. And he's like, I trained all these years in the Legion. I can't even beat 3 thugs from my homeworld. This sucks. And so they take some asteroids, chuck it at him, and manage to bonk him on the head. So then we cut over to Chemical Kid and Element Lad, and they show him, like, breaking apart the ship, and he's oxidizing it and making it rust very quickly until finally it disintegrates. And he's like, I did it. Hey, didn't I do a good job, Element Lad? But Element Lad's already zoomed off because he realized something's wrong with Cosmic Kid, Lad, whatever. And he gets over there and he sees Like, oh no, he's all bloodied and beaten. Something happened. The pirates are getting away. But Chemical Kid's like, we should go after the pirates. And Element Labs are like, no, there are no hostages. We care for our own. We can always find the pirates again later. Let's get him back to some health bay or whatever. And then the issue ends. Okay, so there's something I really want to point out about this issue. It isn't in the trade, obviously, but I read this digitally, and there was a vote. There was an actual, like, hey, write into DC Comics and tell us who you think the next Legion leader should be. Anybody on the team is fair game. Like, they wanted people to write in and vote. I also happened to check the sales of this issue, and it was about 18,000 comics were bought by comic stores. How many of those were sold? Who knows? But 18,000 issues were bought from Diamond. So if you assume even half those people are, that's 9,000 people deciding whether or not the Legion leader is. And that is a massive, massive overguess on that. Just a weird little thing that there was an actual vote. It's crazy to me. I thought that died in the 90s. Anyway, yeah, so I like how they're taking the time to characterize Chemical Kid. They're actually giving him something besides just, I'm the newbie. Like, he froze up, and yeah, these are all newbie things, but like, it's a characterization. It's something. More so than I feel like I've gotten with almost anybody else here. The fact they're bringing back up this Fatal 5 thing again, dear Lord, I have completely forgotten about that. I assumed that they had already dealt with it, and I just managed to not understand that they had managed to deal with it. But no, apparently it is still a thing that I need to be worried about understanding, which is fantastic. I can't say I like this issue. I also can't say I particularly dislike it. At least in this issue, I understood each of the threads for the most part. I still don't understand the larger Fatal 5 thread, but I got the whole, okay, there are pirates and they've got asteroids and they're members of Cosmic Kids, lads race. I'll get that eventually. So I get it. I understand it. I don't care, but I get it. So overall, I guess I'll give this one a 6 because I can't fault it for anything it did. And I like to see it is moving in a direction where, like, there aren't a billion characters. And in the trade, they have the characters labeled. I've been asking for that this whole damn time, and I thought they just weren't listening, but it turns out they weren't listening until now. So 6, and hopefully it continues to stay readable.